At the beginning of the movie, we see U.S. Congressman Phil in a park, where he is met by Thomas, a high-ranking officer from the National Security Agency. Their conversation reveals that a bill regarding surveillance and security is about to be passed by Congress in a few days. This bill would grant the NSA permission to install cameras and microphones in anyone's home, office, or hotel room without their permission. This bill would also allow the agency to tap into anyone's phone. Phil is against this bill, believing it would completely destroy people's privacy. If the bill passes, Thomas would be promoted within the NSA. When Phil refuses to support the bill, one of Thomas's men forcibly injects Phil with a poison, killing him. They then place Phil's body in his car, scatter some heart attack medication around, and dump the car into a lake. This makes it appear that Phil died from a heart attack while driving. We then see Robert, a lawyer who only takes cases for workers employed by companies. One such worker, who had been severely beaten by a mob boss named Pintero, approaches Robert. He wants Robert to meet with Pintero and demand compensation for the beating. Robert assures him that he will handle Pintero. Later, Robert meets with Rachel, with whom he had an affair a year ago. They are no longer together. Rachel gives Robert a videotape of Pintero's illegal activities, which she received from a man named Braille. In exchange, Robert pays Rachel. This reveals that Rachel now works for Robert, relaying information from Braille to him. Robert then goes to meet with Pintero, where he shows him the videotape and demands compensation for the worker who was beaten. He blackmails Pintero, threatening to give the tape to the police. Pintero, furious, snatches the tape from Robert. He then demands that Robert find the person who made the video within a week, or he will kill him. This terrifies Robert. As Robert leaves Pintero's lair, he notices FBI agents watching Pintero. News of Phil's death reaches the FBI and journalists, who all gather at the lake where his body is being recovered. At the opposite end of the lake, a man named Daniel arrives, removes a tape from a camera set up there, replaces it with another tape, and leaves. Daniel is a wildlife videographer who had set up the camera to record footage. An FBI officer sees Daniel removing the tape. Hicks, who works for Thomas, informs him that Daniel's camera might have captured footage of Phil's death. Thomas then orders a team within the NSA to investigate Daniel. Meanwhile, Daniel discovers that his tape contains footage of Phil's death. He immediately calls a journalist friend to tell him about the tape. However, their conversation is tapped by the NSA, who learn that Daniel has the footage. On Thomas's orders, NSA agents arrive at Daniel's house. However, Daniel anticipates their arrival and escapes. The NSA now tracks him via satellite. Daniel runs into a shop and bumps into Robert. Daniel, not having time to explain, hides the tape in Robert's bag and runs away. As Daniel exits the store, NSA agents begin to chase him. In his attempt to escape, Daniel is hit by a car and killed instantly. Robert witnesses the tragic incident. Returning home, Robert finds his son engrossed in video games. Later, Robert confides in his wife Carla about Daniel's death. Meanwhile, an NSA agent informs Thomas that they have recovered a tape from Daniel. Thomas orders them to check the CCTV footage of the shop where Daniel had entered, revealing Robert's presence there. They suspect that Daniel might have placed something in Robert's bag. However, the footage is unclear. Two NSA agents, disguised as FBI officers, approach Robert, claiming that Daniel was carrying something important and might have put it in Robert's bag. Robert denies this and demands a warrant for them to search his bag. Lacking the warrant, they leave empty-handed. Upon examining his bag, Robert finds no tape. Meanwhile, the NSA investigates Robert, discovering his past affair with Rachel. Thomas orders them to tarnish Robert's reputation so that no one will believe him if he tries to expose the tape. Later that night, while Robert is out with his wife and son, NSA agents break into his house and install cameras, microphones, and transmitters throughout. They even place transmitters on his clothes and shoes before leaving. The next morning, they go to Robert's office and replace his belongings, including his pen watch, with duplicates containing transmitters. Robert's affair with Rachel is exposed in the newspapers, leading to her losing her job. The news also causes a rift in Robert's marriage, with his wife asking him to leave. The NSA agents observe all of this. When Robert tries to book a hotel room, he finds his accounts frozen by the NSA. A man steals his briefcase. Confused and overwhelmed, Robert remembers Pintero and suspects he is behind this. He seeks Rachel's help, believing that Braille might be able to help him. The NSA monitors Robert via satellite, and after much persuasion, Rachel reveals Braille's location to Robert. Robert goes to the location but finds no one there. He enters a public washroom, where a man claiming to be Braille meets him. This man takes Robert in his car, questioning him about what Daniel gave him. Robert insists that he received nothing. The man then pulls out a gun, pressuring Robert for answers. Suddenly, their car is involved in a collision. Seizing the opportunity, Robert flees and hides in a hotel. The NSA remains vigilant, tracking Robert through the transmitters planted on him. The man from the car follows Robert into the hotel and takes him to an elevator. He removes 3 transmitters from Robert's body, leaving only 3. The NSA agents pursue Robert, realizing that someone is helping him. The man, revealed to be Briel, takes Robert to the hotel rooftop. It is revealed that the man who Robert met earlier was not Braille, but an NSA agent. Braille explains to Robert that it's not Pintero, but the NSA that's after him. He says that planting transmitters is a signature tactic of the agency. He tells Robert to remove his watch, pants, and shirt, and never try to contact him or Rachel again. Anyone who gets close to Robert will be eliminated. Just then, an NSA helicopter arrives, forcing Briel and Robert to split up. The NSA agents chase only Robert. Recalling Briel's warning, Robert enters a hotel room and discards his clothes, disabling the transmitters. However, the NSA is still tracking him through satellite. Robert sets the hotel on fire, causing chaos. Police and firefighters arrive, and Robert is taken to the hospital by ambulance. The crowd surrounding the scene prevents the NSA from taking any action. Midway to the hospital, Robert pulls out a gun, forcing the ambulance to stop. He escapes the NSA agents. Robert then secretly meets with his wife Carla, revealing the truth to her. He notices that Carla is wearing the same clothes he bought on the day Daniel died. He wonders if his son might have taken something from his bag. He hides in his car and follows his son, who is going to school. Robert questions his son, who reveals that he took a video game from the bag, the same game where Daniel hid the tape. Robert finds the tape. He goes to Rachel's house and finds her dead. The scene has been staged to frame Robert for her murder. It is clear this is the work of the NSA. Robert then goes to Briel and tells him about Rachel's death and the planted evidence. Briel tells him that the NSA wants to destroy Robert completely. A while later, Briel takes Robert to a shop. Robert calls Carla's friend to tell her not to worry about the news reports about him because he is innocent. The NSA intercepts the call, pinpointing Robert's location. NSA agents immediately arrive at the shop, but Briel and Robert are gone. The NSA checks the shop's CCTV footage and learns about Briel. They track his car to his hideout. Briel and Robert watch the tape together, understanding why the NSA is after them. Briel realizes that the NSA agents are at his hideout. They escape, and just before the NSA arrives, Briel sets a bomb. The agents barely escape the blast, which destroys the building. The explosion also sets Robert's clothes on fire, destroying the tape that the NSA was after. The NSA investigates Briel and discovers that his real name is Edward, and that he used to work for the NSA before disappearing 10 years ago. Briel tells Robert that he was close to Rachel's father, who died saving Briel's life during a mission. Briel had been looking out for Rachel ever since. The tape is gone, so Briel advises Robert to go underground. Robert, however, wants to reclaim his life, and he is determined to fight back. They make a plan. Briel calls Thomas, pretending to have the tape and asking to meet at a secret location. Through the radio, Robert is constantly in contact with Briel. The NSA, having spotted Briel, checks the radio frequency and locates Robert, capturing both of them. Thomas interrogates Briel about the tape, but Briel refuses to answer. Thomas shoots Briel in the hand. Robert, however, says he knows where the tape is, and he leads Thomas and his 2 agents to Pintero's hideout. The FBI, having been surveilling Pintero, become alert at the sight of the NSA agents. Standing before Pintero, Robert points at Thomas and accuses him of making the videotape, then points at Pintero and tells Thomas that Pintero has the tape. This is a clever ploy, as Pintero had taken the tape from Robert at the beginning of the film and given him a week to find the person who made it. Robert has successfully created a misunderstanding between Pintero and Thomas, leading to a shootout. Both Pintero and Thomas are killed. The sound of gunfire alerts the FBI agents, who arrive and rescue Robert. He walks away unscathed, his scheme successful. The FBI investigate the case and discover that Thomas killed not only Phil and Rachel, but also Daniel and a journalist. The surveillance bill is no longer passed, as the public has witnessed its misuse through Thomas's actions. All charges against Robert are dropped, and he finally gets to live peacefully with his family. The movie ends here.